Well, hello, Robert Heffernan with EndoTech. This Blockchain Vitals, it's our weekly segment talking cryptocurrencies, digital assets, things in the matrix. Anyway, what a week. And we're going to get to the price discovery in a second, but let's just spend just a second or two here going over the rounds, and there's really only one story. Obviously, only one story, obviously, driving markets worldwide, and that's the coronavirus, COVID-19 disease. And I want to bring up this thing that I talked about last week because it seems to be when there is great distrust, when there's great unknowns, people just go to cash, all right? People just, they sell all assets, get sold. And crypto is suffering that, along with, obviously, stock markets across the world, people running to safe haven to bonds. The markets are, I'm trading in the fiat class here also. I've gone to the sidelines on the crypto because nobody knows where this shakes out. Now, we're going to talk here in a second on the vitals on logical areas from a technical standpoint, because fundamentally, who knows where this thing can go? And that's the problem I've always had with fundamentals, is you can paint the picture good or bad. And believe me, I've had both stories preached to me in my trading career for years and years and years about how good something is or how bad something is. And if I just listened to the whispers, I'd have got carried out 50 times. The fact is, for me, a disciplined trading methodology has to involve some numbers. It has to involve some technical analysis where I get to say where I'm right or wrong. Most importantly, where I get to say that so I get to fight another day. Anyway, let's take the vitals and talk about actual price discovery. And one thing you're going to notice here, by the way, taking the vitals, my chance to talk about that actual price discovery. And as we bring up that blockchain vitals sheet, you can see right now Bitcoin on a daily basis, we just kind of blew through the models, all right? And I've talked about this forever also. That's why fractaling and moving in and out of time frames is so beneficial for your analysis. So the daily model has gotten blown up because volatility has gone through the roof. So we fractal out to the weekly, and we'll talk about the monthly again and those levels. So Bitcoin right now is 79.19 last, 79.19 at Bitfinex. That weekly average this week coming in at 85.62. Weekly low momentum at 76.18. And all I can tell you is you don't want to see this thing trade below 76.18. Then we got a very interesting setup here because the weekly low momentum collar comes in at 57.30 and the monthly low momentum level comes in at 56.28. So same, crazy, same general area, $100 area, but you gotta be swinging for $100 areas in this thing. Anyway, 79.19, as I said, lower momentum on the weekly, 76.18. Lower momentum, the lower momentum collar on the weekly, 57.30. Lower momentum on the monthly, 56.28. So that 57.30, 56.28 level, believe me, I will be jumping on the bandwagon if we go trade that type of level. I'm not saying that we're gonna. I'm telling you that you need to be prepared from a technical standpoint on where these important levels are. Anyway, Ether right now trading $200, and again, Ether a little bit better on the chart anyway, as it's still above its weekly average. That's at 187.67 Ether, 187.67 weekly average. A 141.79 weekly low momentum in Ether. And on the monthly, the important levels here are 196 is that monthly average, 196.29, 151.46 lower momentum on the monthly. So both momentum levels on the weekly and the monthly within $10 of each other. That 141.79, 151.46 on the monthly in Ether. XRP, I am so glad I don't talk about the don't trade the XRP fundamental story. Anyway, fully in lower momentum now, or no, dabbling with it closely on the weekly. Low momentum on the weekly, 1991. Right now, trading 2086. And crazy how this chart has worked out. It's actually in lower momentum on the monthly, which is 2291. Not looking great. Weekly collar down at 1306. And again, why do I bring up these blowaway levels? It's because that's the type of environment that we're in right now. If this COVID thing if it just doesn't deteriorate, right? That's my fear on this thing. If like El Trumpetente has told us that it's going to get better in the spring, hopefully in early spring, and by God, hopefully that happens. But if it doesn't, if it just nags and keeps hanging around and we can't get ahead of it, none of these charts look great longer term if that happens. Anyway, Litecoin trading up 49.95 Litecoin. Low momentum in the weekly, 45.26. Room down to $20.84 to the lower momentum collar on the weekly. Also important here, dabbling right now with its monthly lower momentum level, 49.67. So not great price action by any stretch of the imagination, but dabbling in that area. 49.67 monthly lower momentum for Litecoin, but that 45.26 level, I think a little bit more important on the weekly. 45.26 lower momentum on the weekly. If it takes both of those out, look out. And again, room down to $20.84 lower momentum collar on the weekly. EOS trading 303. Lower momentum on the weekly, 278. 278 on the monthly, 283. So again, as I talked about last week, that monthly chart fairly flatlined in EOS. And so 283 monthly lower momentum, 278 weekly lower momentum for EOS. BNB right now trading 1643. Lower momentum in the weekly, 1445. Lower momentum on the monthly, 1552. So still above both of those levels. But again, these are the levels you want to see these things dig in at. You do not want to see, closes on weeklies in lower momentum if you want to paint the bull story. XTZ had that on, got out in the above $3. Again, 285 now is lower or the up momentum, right? It's trading 247. Weekly average at 211 and weekly low momentum at $1.37. Now, again, who knows what happens in these things, right? But that $1.37 on a washout for me is a fantastic place to enter for XTZ. ADA trading 0410, 0410. Weekly average at 0459. Weekly low momentum at 0358, 0358. And a full washout's room down to 0156 on the weekly. That's the weekly lower momentum collar. And listen, man, there's nothing worse than not knowing the levels as far as this trader is concerned. I love standard deviation analysis because it really bears out well the potentiality in the market. I love having levels like momentum levels that tell me, the directional bias of the momentum. And then the collar levels are exhaustion levels and great places to take profit. Now, this works for me on whatever type chart you want to look at. All right, and you fractal in and out depending on the volatility. That's what I do. And somebody shared with me, and I wish I had thought about bringing it up, but I'll bring it up next week. They shared with me two different charts. I think it was a 1 second chart. There's actually a 1 second chart now with high-speed trading going on because things are trading in fractions of seconds. A 1 second and 2 second chart. And if you took that second off of it, if you didn't know what it was, and we're just looking at the chart, it looks like any other chart. It looks like a 30-minute and this was in the S&Ps, but it was a 1 second chart that absolutely looked like any other candlestick chart you've ever seen in your life. The price discovery moving at light speed now, at light speed. And so even on that chart, the standard deviation analysis works. I'm not sure you can get in and out with your hand on a mouse that quickly, but that's the environment that we live in. All right, listen, thank you so much for watching. Please share the video. Be disciplined, trade disciplined, and I will see you next week on another Blockchain Vitals weekly segment. Thank you.